Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show today. I'm really glad everybody could join us. So today we're going to be diving in and talking about a topic we've never discussed before. I'm going to map out every single thing that you need to know to create a sensational pitch deck for angel investors and venture capitalists. Look, a lot of people are now going to angel investors and venture capitalists to get money at a rate that we've never seen before. So I thought, never covered this topic before. A lot of people want to know what's involved when you go to get money with angel investors and venture capitalists. So today we're going to be diving in. You're going to learn exactly how you can create a pitch deck for angel investors and venture capitalists to raise money for your company. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Ty Crandall, and I'm actually the CEO here at Credit Suite. And at Credit Suite, this is what we do. We help businesses get capital, and we help you do it by helping improve your fundability, to help you better qualify for financing, to build business credit for your EIN that's not linked to your social, and to get all kinds of loans and credit lines. So if you're interested in getting approved for financing for your business, feel free to go to creditsuite.com/get funding. That will even plug you into our venture capitalist and angel investing connections as well. So getting working capital you need to grow your business doesn't have to be as difficult as going in your bank and qualifying for SBA loans. Okay, there's a lot of people that are now going to these kind of investors to get money versus going through the nightmare process of getting approved for a lot of conventional bank financing. Okay, so some of these options can work really, really well for you, even if you're a startup, but you've got to create what's called a pitch deck. It's got to be done. Meaning if you're going to stand in front of potential people who are going to invest money into your company, then you have to have a pitch deck, a deck presented, a PowerPoint presentation per se, that gets them certain things so they're going to want to invest in your business. So when we talk about a pitch deck, what we're talking about is the actual deck or the actual, let's say, slide deck that you're going to need to get a deal done. Now, while the pitch deck's not going to seal the deal immediately, it's really the very first step to getting you in the door with these angel investors and venture capitalists. It's the first impression that they're getting of your business. Now, more than likely, maybe I shouldn't say first impression, because reality is you're probably going to be approaching them or they're going to be approaching you, and they're going to want to know more about you. And the pitch deck is where they do that. It's what gives them all the essential details they would need to know if they want to invest in you or not. So basically, a pitch deck is a fancy word for a PowerPoint presentation. It's designed to convince investors that they need in on the action, that they want to invest in your business. Now, quick search, I'll turn up a ton of pitch deck examples to give you some ideas. So if you don't really know, after everything I go through today, like, I'm still the kind of guy that likes examples. Like, even if somebody gives me the step-by-step, which I'm going to outline for you, then I still like to at least see examples of what other people have done. You can easily Google this and see them, and it's cool. You can see Uber's original pitch deck, for example, just by looking into this and doing some research. So there's tons of examples out there you can use. So the goal here is to get your business funded. The goal is to be able to create a PowerPoint deck that is so compelling that people want to invest money into your business. But the immediate goal is to get you really the next meeting. And that's what happens. A pitch deck, think of it like this. Angel investors, venture capitalists ultimately line up a lot of people to meet with typically in one point in time. The pitch deck is what then gets them an idea of whether they really want to know more, dive in deeper in that business. If you come in and blow them away with a pitch deck, the next purpose is they're probably going to set a meeting with you that's one-on-one to dive deeper into the details. So the original goal here of the pitch deck is to capture their initial interest. Then you're going to move forward on one-on-one meetings to close the deal. So again, divestment decisions aren't really made in the first meeting. Just because you have a great pitch, they're not going to start throwing money at you or wanting to invest. The purpose of the pitch deck is to get you that next meeting. It's to get them interested. So then that way you could talk to them a little bit more one-on-one about their actual investment. Okay. So you need to make sure you wow them. Okay. Because if you don't wow them, you'll never get to that meeting point of the actual scenario. You're never going to get to that part of actually meeting them to talk to them about getting money. So again, a pitch deck, killer presentation, first step. There's little creative leeway, but there is some general information, okay? So there is a little creative leeway. You don't have to follow my formula here, but this is the proper formula of what investors are looking for. Many of them are going to want to see in the pitch deck. If you want to do it different order, add things, subtract things, so be it. But this is a lot of the basic stuff that the investors are going to want to see and should make up the bulk of the actual presentation. So let's start with company overview. Okay. So not everybody's going to recommend this slide, but it is essential because it's quick 4 or 5 bullet point summary of what the rest of the pitch deck really explains. It's like an overview of what they're going to learn about your business. It also shows what your company does, what you do, and why you need to do it. Okay. It kind of shows your how and your why. So as the first slide after the cover, it helps investors decide if they want to hear more. So the bottom line is you have a cover slide, then you have the company overview slide. The company overview slide just says the essential 4 or 5 bullet points about you that you think are very important about them to know regarding your company. Now, if you catch investors when they don't have a lot of time, well, this slide ensures that they cannot move on or finish until they get the information they need. So basically, it's like a teaser. It says, hey, look, here's the things about the company you're going to want to know. So I'm not going to put a company overview and give every little minor detail. I'm just going to give the stuff that I would want an investor to look at and go, wow, that's cool. I didn't know that. Okay. So for example, here at Credit Suite, we have about 80 team members. And you know what? Today, we've never had anybody actually leave the company or actually quit and go to the company to somewhere else. We've had some people, unfortunately, we've had to let go, but nobody's voluntarily came and said, look, I quit, I'm done. Okay, so that's a strong point for us. It shows the culture that we have such a big team and that nobody's ever quit the company. That would be a bullet point because I would want them to see, wow, this is how much people love working here, our culture. And that's a good reflection of our culture. So things like that you think are selling points to an investor are what you're going to want to put on this slide. Okay, now again, it really may allow them to determine if they want to meet you in person and discuss things further. So remember, this is just the beginning step here of the slide deck to get them interested. So mission statement or vision for the business, crisp, concise statement of what the vision or mission of the business is. Now, it could be what you want to become or what you're intended to be. Some examples of mission statements include IKEA, to create a better everyday life for many people. Okay, Honest Tea, to create and promote great tasting, healthy, organic beverages. Nike, to bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete in the world. Okay, so those give you some really good examples of very strong mission statements. Okay, so for example, what we're trying to do right now at Credit Suite, our mission is to unlock capital for 1 million business owners by 2030. That's a very specific mission, right? Like, we're going to unlock capital for 1 million business owners, specific amount of people we're going to help by 2030, specific goal date in mind. So as you can see, these can be a little different based on your company. But a strong mission statement is really the backbone of your presentation, okay? Because it, again, establishes what your primary mission is. What is your goal for the business? What are you trying to accomplish for the business? So keep in mind, they've already come in now. They've learned a little bit about your business, the selling points on that. Now they want to know what your mission, what your vision is for what the business is going to do. And next, you want to introduce yourself and your team to potential investors. This part should not only include names, but also what each person contributes to the company. You want to add pictures. You want them to relate your business to the actual people within the business, okay? You also, investors need to see who they are investing in, okay? Now, in this, again, what they're looking for is some impressive things. They want to see, if you've got people in there with really good resumes, you want to put that in there. Hey, the CEO, like Credit Suite, I've written books. I'm, seen as an authority in the space. So that's a selling point on the slide. My COO was one of the biggest business bankers for Wells Fargo. Okay. She's got a huge resume of a lot of experience. Those are things we want to highlight to investors. We want to show them, hey, not only is this the details about our company you love, and here's our mission and where we're going, but here's the people backing it. Here's the people you're investing to that are going to get it to the next level. So this goes a long way. As a matter of fact, you often hear sharks on the Shark Tank say they invest in the people. They're looking for people that have a certain skill set of desire, of never giving up, of willing to do the work and work the hard hours and dedication. They're looking for those values. So these investors are looking for the same thing. Sometimes they'll invest in the people more than the concept. Okay. So the need for a business like yours, this is the problem side. For a business to work, it must solve a problem. So you got to explain what the problem is your business plans to solve. What need will your business fill? Okay. And that's very, very important. So in this, we're talking about the problem, and it doesn't hurt you to put metrics in there of how big the problem is. So at Credit Suite, we help businesses get capital. The problem is businesses struggle to get money they need when they need it to grow. That's the problem we solve. We help simplify the process of helping businesses get money. Okay, so that's the problem. Now, if I'm doing the pitch deck, then I'm going to put some specific numbers there. There's this many businesses in the United States. And based on this survey data from SBA, 80% of them need capital, which means there's this many businesses that now need capital. So then that shows them the scope of the problem. Not only tells them about the problem we're trying to solve, but gives them an idea of how big the problem actually is. So next is how we solve the problem, right? Right after we state the problem, next we're going to tell them what our solution to the problem is and how your business will provide it. This is where you're going into details about statistics and how your product or service will actually make a difference. Did you create a new algorithm or patent new technology? Put it here. This is what you're doing to actually solve the problem. So on our slide for Credit Suite, hey, look, we help businesses get capital. We fix the cash access problem. How do we do it? We do it 3 ways. We do it by improving fundability. We do it by helping them build business credit for the EIN and by getting access to financing. This is the point where we're going to explain that we've got technology, our business finance suite, that maps them out step by step, the process to successfully build business credit. This is where we talk about our relationship with LexisNexis and how we help get LexisNexis data that lenders mostly use and then bring it front facing so consumers can see what lenders know about them, blah, blah, blah. This is where we get into that information about how we're helping solve that problem. Now that brings you into what the actual product is. You've got to introduce your product or service, explain how it solves that problem. What makes it different? This is big right here. Okay, a lot of these investors want to know that what makes you different from your competition. If you go into an investor pitch session where you're a mortgage broker and you're no different than every mortgage broker, they're not going to want to invest in you. They're going to want something unique. They're going to want to see that you actually have a real shot at making this business huge because you've got something that differentiates you, okay? This is your USP, your unique selling proposition. So how will this product service get the job done? Is it best to have a prototype? It's best to have a prototype available at this stage to show them or talk to them about, okay? But if you can't, then pictures are a must, or diagrams or blueprints of what this is going to look like, drawings. Okay, if you offer a product and still development, use the drawings. If you offer a service, we'll try to offer an example of what it is you offer and how it works. Add diagrams, charts, screenshots. Okay, look, if you don't have an existing company, then it comes more and more important that you have screenshots and charts and diagrams, that you have all the visual representations that you can of what your product is going to do to solve the problem. Okay, it's in our world, then it's easier, right? We already have a product. The product's created. I could log in and show them what the product actually looks like. You have to keep in mind, a lot of people are visual people. They need to see it to really be able to understand it. So if you don't have an actual product, then your ability to produce diagrams, charts, screenshots, these type of things really become very important. So is there a market for it? The market slide needs to do a few things. Define your market. Who exactly will be using your product? Who will benefit from it? What's the dollar market size? So you're going to include graphs and charts showing your company will be reaching the defined market. Look, angel investors and venture capitalists want you to be appealing to a massive audience. Let me give you an example. I know some people that indirectly had the potential to invest in Yeti. Now, for those of you that don't know, Yeti does like outdoor things like coolers and like koozies and all this kind of stuff, which become one of the most popular of the brands in that space. Well, what happened was they chose not to invest in Yeti because when Yeti did their initial pitch, what they said was that this product is for outdoorsmen. And the investors didn't like it because they chose such a small niche that it couldn't have mass market appeal. It wasn't something that could be $1 billion company because the small outdoorsman niche was not big enough to do it. Now, Yeti, they learned, right? They went to these, and this is another important lesson here. They went to these early sessions and they learned those lessons. They pitched in front of investors. Investors told them no. They asked them why. The investor said, because your niche is too small. Outdoorsman's too small. You have to be able to appeal to a larger market. So Yeti listened to the advice and they went and made changes. And then they made changes so it was used by everybody. Now they have koozies and they have cups and they have coolers and anybody can use it, right? If you have a boat, you can use it. If you have an RV, you can use it. If you're just taking it to kids' birthday parties, you can use it. So Yeti learned that by defining a very small market, that they weren't able to attract the investors they want. By broadening the market, they were able to turn around and get the investors that they needed to make them I don't know if they're $1 billion company, but they're up there. So do you already have customers? customers. Well, if you already have customers, this slide can be powerful. Okay. Because basically what you're doing is you're coming in and talking about customers that you have, especially if they're well known. If they're recognizable customers already using it, then you want to use their logos as well. Now, for less well-known customers, names and testimonials can work well here. Okay, who these people are. Okay, the result that they got. Give them case studies to see how the product actually produced results. Now, if you have some major proprietary technology, you want to mention it here. If it's still in development, you want to use, again, diagrams, graphs, and any kind of photos you have. If you have it completed, bring an example. Include any proprietary rights such as patents and copyrights. Very big here. So again, what they're looking for is, can anybody just copy what you do? Or do you have patents? Do you have copyrights? Do you have proprietary rights? Do you have things that make it where you're the only person that could do this? So again, this is really, really, really important for them to see something that has mass market appeal, but something else that other people aren't just going to copy and go to try to do where they're able to easily come in and compete with you. So how do you handle competition, by the way, when we talk about competing with you? Do you ignore or underestimate your competition? You want to add a competition slide. Who are your competitors? How is your business different? What gives your business a competitive advantage? You want to research competitors thoroughly. You must be able to answer questions about competition from potential investors. If you can't answer the questions knowledgeably, well, then they're going to probably adequately, or they're going to conclude that you can't adequately know who your competition is, your market. Look, one of the biggest mistakes you can make is to come into a pitch and say you don't have competition. Okay. So let's look at Uber. When Uber got started, there was nobody doing what Uber did. Okay. But the reality is they didn't walk into their pitches and say that nobody did what they did. What they said was their competition were taxi companies, right? Their competition was other transportation services that had limousines, et cetera, et cetera. So you can't, even being Uber, the first to a space, the first to do anything like it. Look at Airbnb. Nobody did what Airbnb did before. And now they're the biggest, renter of houses and apartments that exist, but they still had competition. Their competition was Expedia. Their competition was Pricelines. It was hotels. Okay. So they had these other competitors. So you can't go into here and say you don't have competition. Everybody has competition, even if they're not directly in your industry. The better you acknowledge that you have competition and what's going to differentiate you is what's going to win the day. So sometimes if you have previous success, it helps a lot too. Sometimes called a traction slide. So you want to include any of these which may apply: early sales, website traffic, app downloads, growth metrics, partnerships, praise from the press. Look, anything that shows that what you're doing, you're on the right track to success helps a lot. If you say, look, I just rolled this out and I started a GoFundMe campaign and we raised $27,000 and had 25,000 people contribute funds, that's something you want to show. The interest is there. So if you have a newer product, a newer concept, then coming in and showing early sales, showing website traffic, showing there's an interest helps a lot. Look, second business I ever owned was a consumer credit business. And I remember thinking early on, I'm going to get 100 customers a month, and then I'm going to do this. Years into the company, I still was trying to figure out how to get 100 customers a month. This is how business owners are, and these investors know that. So when you can actually show success, not just concepts of what you think you may accomplish, but you actually show success, that goes a long way for these potential investors. So they also want to see a business model. They need to understand what your business model is, how you're going to make money, okay, how you're going to get a customer, how you're going to retain the value of that customer long term, what your pricing plan looks like. All these things are very important to the how are you going to make money? How are you going to make money initially? What are you going to upsell them? What are your add-on products? How does this look? Okay, are you a software for, a software as a service, an SaaS company? Well, they're going to want a certain portion of your revenue to be subscription, for example. Marketing plans. Which marketing platforms and channel do you intend to use? TV, social media, print, whatever it may be. What's the cost to acquire a customer? Okay, if you already have customers or already have channels, what have the results been like? Okay, have you had more success with one channel than the other? Compare and contrast the cost with estimated lifetime value of the customer. Do you have early press? You want to list it here as well, or include that on your traction slide. So what's your plan to get customers? That's what it comes down to. So I remember on a Shark Tank episode, Mark Cuban asked this, and the person said, all we do is Facebook ads, and he immediately wanted out because he knew that Facebook is very volatile. Okay, so again, Not only does it help if you have a marketing plan and are actually already executing it, and you already have numbers like here's my cost per click, here's my cost per lead, here's my return on investment on acquiring a customer, here's my plan. I'm going to go to Facebook, I'm going to go to Google, I'm going to go to Bing, I'm also going to do print media and direct mail. They're going to want to see what this is. And again, if you can show them traction, show them results, it's going to go a long way. Financials, 3 to 5 year financial projections. Okay. It's just a guess based on the numbers that you've worked up in your business plan. Okay. They're going to want to see where you are the next 3 to 5 years. Now, just so you know, 3 to 5 years is a really big deal. A lot of angel investors and venture capitalists are looking to exit, sell in 5 years. So they're going to want to see that in 3 to 5 years, you could be big enough to get out of that business to sell the business, because that's what they're primarily looking for. This isn't long-term here. Okay. They don't want to see a 10, 20-year plan. They want to see a 3, 5-year plan because they're looking to get out in 3 to 5 years. Unit economics, burn rate, how much money the company will lose and how quickly in the startup phase. Annual recurring revenue, total revenue and expenses, complete current financials is what they're going to look for if are available. And then key assumptions used to determine the projection. So again, if you're going to come in and say, we're going to do $1 million the first year, well, how many customers is that? And what's your cost to acquire that customer? And how much is your burn rate? How much money are you going to have to burn to get to that $1 million? And how much are you going to burn before you get to be profitable? These are the things they're going to want to know. The ask. This is where you're going to tell potential investors exactly what you're looking for. You can use as a monetary range of money. You could tell them how long you think the amount of financing is going to last, what milestones you're going to hit to be able to get more if you need it. Details of how your plans could use to get the funds. Will you use them as working capital for product development, hire new employees? You want to show investors how their money will go to work for the business. Now, if you already have existing investors, reveal at this time if you have them, okay, and highlight which ones they may be well known. So look, at this point, what's actually happening is that you're coming in and you're basically making sure that they understand what you're going to do with their money. They want to know how you're going to invest it and what kind of returns you plan on again investing. If they invest the money, what kind of growth you expect, for example, okay, becomes very important. If you have other people that invested, well, then that makes them more comfortable. So you want to let them know. So with angel investing, there's 2 types of angel investors. There's what's called affiliated angels and unaffiliated angels. Affiliated angels are people affiliated with you. They're your friends. They're your family. They're people that you know. Unaffiliated are people you're going to come with a pitch deck and present to. If you're pitching to unaffiliated investors that don't know you, then one of the best things you could do is show them that people that do know you have invested. Hey, look, I already have 5 investors. My mom, okay, my grandma, my best friend from high school, okay, these other 2 people, my dog walker. That's impressive to them, because when they see that all these people around you know enough about you to invest their own money into you, then it solidifies that you're probably worth investing into. So it's always good to get those kind of affiliated angels lined up first. So let's talk about some tips. Make it visually interesting. It should look visually appealing. It should look good, nice, professional. You may need to recruit a professional designer to prepare your pitch deck. No big deal. There's all kinds of services out there that do that. You can use Fiverr, Fiverr, Fiverr.com to find somebody good for that. Okay, keep the pitch deck appealing and professional. Don't use profanity. Don't use jokes. Here's the problem with that stuff. Look, maybe you're talking to an investor that curses like a sailor. And maybe you're talking to an investor that doesn't believe in cursing at all and absolutely is appalled by it. You don't want to pigeonhole people by doing stuff that may rule some people out that they find unappealing. So you need to make sure it's professional. Same with jokes, right? I could tell a joke, 2 people out of 5 may laugh. Then I exclude the other 3. So you have to be very careful to make sure you're not doing anything to pigeonhole people where they're not going to have an interest. Look at some of those pitch deck examples that are out there to see what comes up. The difference between professional, appealing, and low quality is the obvious, okay? I mean, how does it look? Does it look good? Does it not look good? Make it easy to understand and follow. Don't put a bunch of crazy statistics, crazy information that they're not going to understand. Okay, we've all seen this before. If you watch the show Shark Tank, there are people that come in and start talking gibberish where the sharks are like, what are you talking about? Nothing you're saying even makes sense. You'll hear them say things like, you've been out here for 5 minutes and I still don't even understand what you do. Okay, that's the problem with not being clear and concise. Make your pitch deck simple. Don't, if anything, make it more visually appealing. and in more image, not a bunch of different words. Okay. Send the presentation in PDF format when you're done to the people that were there as well. And do not add a date. You don't want it to be dated. Okay. Keep it short and sweet. It really shouldn't be more than 15 to 20 slides. It's great news. It's not going to take a ton of time to prepare this. And I just mapped out what you need on those 15 to 20 slides. Any more, and you're probably going to start to lose their attention. You can always add more. If you meet the person in person, you can add an appendix. Or again, like I said about Yeti, when they went in and realized what investors didn't want, they added more and changed their slide deck to be more appealing. And do not get way too wordy, as I mentioned on the slides. Concise, sharp bullets are best. Don't underestimate the competition. Like I said, don't go in there acting like you don't have any. That's going to be a turnoff. Keep acronyms to a minimum. Look, there's all kinds of acronyms you may understand in your industry that other people just do not understand. Okay, too many acronyms, and it just turns them off because a lot of them won't even know what it's about. So to recap, the goal of a pitch deck is to attract potential investors in your company. Details matter. You got to make it easy. You got to lay out all the information that they're going to want to see, as I outlined here. This includes addressing the competition, and you don't want to hold anything back. Now, look, if you're interested in getting money for your business, keep in mind that we work with every legitimate funding program in one place. We don't charge you any kind of fees. The lenders sometimes give us referral fees, but we don't actually charge you. So to use our services cost you $0. And we actually do so much loan with a lot of these investors, whether it be angel investors, venture capitalists, or even all types of alternative lenders. They typically give us better deals that we can then pass on to you as well. And then again, if you're looking for, there's two kinds of financing out there. There's equity financing, what I just got done talking about. This is where you're selling equity in your company to get an investment to venture capitalists or angel investors. And just so you know, if you go to youtube.com/credit suite, there's all kinds of information on our channel about angel investing and venture capitalists where we dive in more to the difference between them and how it all works. But if you're looking for debt, that's where you're getting loans and financing to fund the business instead of giving up equity. Well, then we help you get all the way to the point of an SBA loan. So basically, you just never need to look for money again. So you can go to creditsuite.com/get funding, answer like a handful of questions, and we'll be back with you within 24 hours and tell you all the financing you can get now. Whether you're selling equity or not selling equity, we have those options that can help. So there we go. That wraps up how to create a sensational pitch deck for angel investors and venture capitalists. If you have questions, let us know. Our number is 877-600-2487. That's 877-600-2487. Or you can email us info@creditsuite.com. And don't forget, you can get approved directly at creditsuite.com/get funding. Now, if you like even more tips and tactics, then go to creditsuite.com, and on the top right of our page, you'll find our social media links. We go live on Facebook weekly. We go live on YouTube weekly. We have a podcast so you can listen on the go. We even have an Instagram channel and a Twitter where we have tips daily. We have hundreds of videos on YouTube that can help you with all aspects of getting capital for your business. So make sure you visit creditsuite.com to get a bunch of really cool information. Check us out on social. And I look forward to our next show where we're going to be able to talk even more about cool ways to get business credit and financing for your business. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.